In the given context, when people say, look, when we are undergoing certain like war against terrorism or a counter-terrorism or a global war against terrorism, we had seen around the world certain things which are being justified, like the use of torture, like the extraditions, renditions, or depriving some person from right to fair hearings, or trying of the civilians in the military courts. So these are the new areas and dimensions which human rights norms tries to balance with the competing interests. As I already mentioned, that it is the duty of every state to safeguard the right to life, liberty and security of a person. So it does not only entail the duty on a state to safeguard the individuals or the citizens or the residents or the people living in the country from only the government authorities, but from also the third parties, also from the non-state actors as well. So we had seen that in the current scenario where people are subjecting other people on the basis of their ideology or other grievances or other motives, then state has to act. But state needs to comply with these international human rights laws, as I mentioned, that no one should be subjected to torture, no one should be subjected to inhuman degrading treatment or punishment, no one should be kept in incommunicado, because the habeas corpus cannot be revoked in any situation. We had seen that every person should not be, every person has a right to a fair treatment and right not to be subjected to the excessive punishment or a retrogressive punishment or any punishment based on that evidence which has been extracted under torture or on the basis of the self-incrimination. So these are the standards, thresholds which international human rights norms safeguards in any country that we need to meet. So here the role of the practitioners, whether lawyers, whether prosecutors, police or any organs of the judiciary, that is so much important that we being the law knowing person need to be aware about what are our rights, how these rights empowers those who are entitled to enjoy such rights, and how we play our constitutional, ethical, moral and as a citizen role, that law abiding cannot be done by law abrogating, or law enforcement cannot be the lawbreakers. So we had to implement the laws by remaining within the standards, the minimum standards or the principles detailed for the elements of criminal justice, like how police should arrest, how they should detain, how they should interrogate, what interrogation techniques they are allowed, how one has right to access to their lawyer, how one has to be brought before a court of law, and how charges can be framed, how prosecutors can use their discretion of scrutiny, and how judge should be trained, competent, independent, and how even when one has been awarded the sentence based on all these norms should be kept in the correction center or a prison where one is deprived of their liberty due in accordance with the law, and they should be subjected to the human rights standards. There should not be a waterboarding, there should not be inhuman degrading treatment, punishment, where they should not debase them below the dignity of human. So these are the standards which govern, and not only our fundamental constitutional guarantees enshrined in our constitution and general laws and special laws, but we had to see how the international standards and norms and human rights guarantees one's rights. So at the same time, when we say that a person accused or a suspect should be subjected to such rights, we cannot shed away from the responsibility of protecting the victims or the potential victims or their families from the compensation or the reparations by the rights which has been violated, and even the witnesses who needs to be protected. So accused, witnesses, general public, and even the actors within the criminal justice system, they needs to be protected within the ambit of law. Thank you.